I don't want just the good toys from the 80s. I want the bad ones too. Yo, YouTube, I'm back. It's another video. In the past, I've confessed my love for 80s rip-off kings, toy company Remco. I love their shamelessness. I love their low quality. I added a little bit more to my collection. These figures basically were stuff that, your grandma would buy, thinking you wouldn't notice or care that it wasn't exactly G.I. Joe, or a Superpowers figure, or really even He-Man, or you want the LJN wrestling figures, and good God, you just wanted some weird pirate figure made of, oh, I think he likes pirates. I picked up a real gem of Remco figures here. This is U.S. Forces. This character actually has a name. His name's Brushfire, even though really, it's a Rambo knockoff. I've been looking for this figure on eBay. Just, not one of my not one of my hot buys I needed to get, but that I knew the figure was out there. I wanted it, but I actually found this one out in the wild. I found him in, a big random bin at the comic book store I go to. He's a knockoff of G.I. Joe and Rambo at the same time. Perfect. Perfect. This is like the exact figure I wanted back then, but I didn't have then or even knew existed. Because there's no G.I. Joe you could really use as Rambo. None of them in that time period really looked like him. But this, look, he's got the headband on him. No sleeves. He's got the gun belt around him. Perfect. I was kind of worried about this figure, trying to buy one of these, because I figured they're knockoffs. They're going to be real brittle. His arms, I will say they are kind of brittle feeling. They feel like that before the swivel arm battle grip G.I. Joes, how they all had broken thumbs. I figure this figure is pretty much that delicate, but the rest of them's pretty damn solid. I mean, I already had experience with this guy, and he was pretty dainty and broken. Because he's got like his bandoliers or whatever you call this thing on him. I'm afraid to take that off. Probably brittle, probably break. That's where a little knife's supposed to slip in. And he's got these little goggles. I looked it up. This figure did not come with these goggles, but I will take it. My Rambo's got to have his night vision goggles to kill all the Vietnamese out in the woods. Every kid loved Rambo back in the day, and nobody was allegedly allowed to see it, but everybody had HBO. HBO was great. That's how all kids saw rated R movies, and we loved them. We loved rated R movies back then. Think back in the day, if you didn't have HBO when you were a kid, you were like a deprived child. Your parents were being cheap. They didn't want to spend, $10 extra a month to watch all the movies in the world, all the best movies. But you knew, somebody was rich and they were, flaunting and flexing and flossing their lifestyle when they had HBO and Showtime at the same time. You needed to see every single movie? Every single movie out? That's crazy. And had a VCR? No, that's what you had the VCR for. Those are the movies you rented that didn't hit HBO. HBO would have, 7 out of 10 of the movies that would hit cable, and Showtime would have, the other 3. You can tell the difference is this isn't really a G.I. Joe, because look how high up the swivel arm battle grip goes. That's pretty high. The G.I. Joe ones, it's a lot further down. To the layman, they would not know the difference, and especially, cheap grandmother. Well, should I buy the $2 figure, or should I buy the one that's $3.50? 80s war toys were popular because of G.I. Joe, and then I think they re-released them again with a different name when Gulf War came out. Because why not capitalize on that? I went to the toy store fairly often when I was a kid, but I never saw these figures anywhere. I remember this one kid I went to school with. He used to have all the weird bootleg figures, and I never knew where he got them. I think he would get them at Woolworths, and That was not that close to my house, and we never really got to go there much when I was a little kid. And there was no Kmart's in my neighborhood, in my city. That would always be like if we went on vacation and we needed some stuff. We went into the Kmart. Oh my God, wow, there's a Kmart here in this town. That's awesome. I didn't care if a figure was cheap or not. I just liked figures. I'd take any figures. Give me 20 figures. I don't care if 10 of them are G.I. Joes and the other 10 are some weird knockoff stuff. I just loved extra toys. I was just happy I got 20 figures. You can tell this was probably a figure that was in that toy line. You can tell this was probably a karate guy that they just repainted. Because look, there's a sash around him. He's got kind of like bell bottoms on there, so you know it's like karate pants. And none of that's molded. That's just a paint scheme on there to make it look like he's wearing a pirate shirt. The only thing they did was make a head for him. REMCO is the master of reusing parts. What do we need new parts for? Just make a new head and that's it, and paint the rest on. Same arms, same torso, just different repaint. Same torso, same torso, same torso. Arms, same arms. They did the same figure in like 5-6 different colors. Why do I love REMCO stuff? Because this is the toy collecting that separates the men from the boys. Anybody can go get themselves a G1 Optimus Prime. Not only that, they remade them 100 times. You can buy the bootleg from China a zillion times over on eBay, but how many REMCO Shield figures are there out there? How many random pirate dude figures are there out there? No, I don't want the Coleco Forces of Freedom Rambo. I don't want another G.I. Joe. I want this knockoff G.I. Joe Rambo figure right there. I have to explain what the hell that is to people if they ever look at my stuff. These were the misguided gifts from Grandma at Christmas. Also, this is the stuff you might pick up at the supermarket. So, oh, I want a toy, I want a toy. Oh, you see that figure, it looks decent and it's cheap enough to pick up while Dad's getting milk. So, you got a U.S. Forces figure. As long as you went home with a toy, the day was good. So, we got love for REMCO. I know they got other action figure lines out there. I'm going to try and collect at least one figure from every line I find of that brand. I think they got absorbed by Jakks, and Jakks got absorbed by somebody else, so they're long gone. They're defunct. You most likely never wanted this stuff, but you ended up with this stuff because it was a bad gift. I said that before in other videos about REMCO. It's like you made out your Christmas list and nobody bothered to read it. That mustache was just like randomly painted on before. I love the half-assery of that. I love that. Makes this figure adorable. I need it. That's what I love about toys. Cheap production. That's what makes a toy, something playable. Like the fact that the manufacturer barely cared about quality. They just wanted to throw something in a package and ship it out and make a few bucks. I love that. I love the art behind that. Like, remember that line in Big where he's like, well, he just took some G.I. Joes and slapped some gills on them and shipped them in seaweed. I love that. I love that idea of just, like, repurposing. That would have been my dream to work at, like, a toy company like REMCO, where you just come up with all these crazy cost-cutting ideas and just reusing stuff and using your imagination to try and make a few bucks. Yeah, you would love to work for like Disney or Warner Brothers or some big time movie studio, but it also would be kind of cool to work for like the Asylum and make knockoff crap movies that end up on the Sci-Fi Channel. I love the Sharknado type action figures of the past. We're making crap. Enjoy it.